story, where we will talk about your experiences, your real life, your ups and downs in the trajectory of your daily life, where you come from and where you are going, what you have learned from your experiences, what are your dreams, your achievements and your talents. Where we hope that some human being benefits from your story, if he or she is in depression or difficult times, they can find a voice of encouragement, hope, love and a lot of faith. God is by your side, never forget it. Talking with Uncle Luis. These are our stories. We are not advising personally or financially. We are not qualified professionals. Search and do your own research.
Bienvenidos, sobrinos del universo.
Welcome, nephews of the universe. Talking with Uncle Luis about your story, my story, and everyone's story. Where we will talk about your experiences, your real life, your ups and downs in the trajectory of your daily life. Where you come from and where you are going, what you have learned from your experiences, what are your dreams, your achievements and your talents. Where we hope that some human being benefits from your story, if he or she is in depression or difficult times, they can find a voice of encouragement, hope, love and a lot of faith. God is by your side, never forget it. Talking with Uncle Luis. These are our stories. We are not advising personally or financially. We are not qualified professionals. Search and do your own research.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches, buenos días, mis queridos sobrinos del universo en cualquier parte del globo terráqueo que se encuentren. Este es su tío Luis de Conversando con el tío Luis. Es un honor, es un placer, tenemos un invitado de lujo. Él habla poquito español, pero mayoría va a ser en inglés. Él, en estos momentos, es de una de las personas que está más necesitada por cualquier país, personas de que estén en Estados Unidos y no tenga documentos. Esta es una manera como poder guiarle con algo. Es precisamente, estamos haciendo esto, un abogado muy honesto, joven, trabajador, con un gran corazón, y en determinado momento hablaré de por qué pienso de que él tiene ese corazón. Yo, las personas que definen su tiempo y lo donan a personas que no conocen, creo que le está donando lo más preciado que tenemos, que es el tiempo, porque eso no regresa hacia nosotros. Y él hace eso, hace obras comunitarias, ayuda al ser humano. No estamos aquí para decirle qué es lo que tiene que hacer. Estos son casos de la vida real. El profesional es él, yo no lo soy, así como lo hice al principio. Estamos ahí. Por favor, ponga subtítulos para que usted pueda entender. Creo que lo puede poner en YouTube y lo puede poner en su teléfono, de cualquiera de las dos maneras, para que pueda entender lo que él diga. Él habla un poquito español. Vamos a ver hasta dónde, para que pueda usted pues comprender lo que estamos hablando. Y como les digo, si tienen una pregunta, si quieren hacer una pregunta, vaya a mi perfil ahí en TikTok y se va a YouTube para que pueda hacer su pregunta. Si tiene alguna, pues estamos para contestarle. Nosotros tenemos unas 8 o 10 preguntas que necesitamos preguntarle y fluirán otras ahí. Entonces vamos a pasarlo a la pantalla. Solo voy a empezar en inglés. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, nieces and nephews of the universe, and anywhere in the world you are. This is your Uncle Luis from Conversando con el Tío Luis. Your story, my story, everyone else's story. Today, we have a fantastic young man, a lawyer with immigration standpoint in that part of the law, that right now we are going to a little chaos and misinformation about, immigration and this and that, the police, the ICE, that. So we're going to hear from a professional. But even though, like I said in the beginning, the disclaimer, you always look for your own research. and that way you can do your diligence, because we're not here to tell you what to do. We're just going to give you a little bit what we know through our life, and then it's up to you what you want to do. I choose to talk to the best one, and you know what I mean, if not one of the best. And I have a lot of faith in that young man, because not only he's a hardworking young lawyer, have a great heart. How do I know he has a great heart? Because he donates time to the community. It doesn't matter which community they are. He always, donates his time. When you donate your time, you donate something that you will never get that back. When the time goes, that time is not coming back. So you do a lot of things in life, and then you get blessed, and you all that, and people, there for you. But once you do your time, and that's how I know has a great heart. So we're gonna bring him on the screen, and then we're gonna go. We're gonna say hello and see how he doing, and just give me a second, and we're gonna put it there. I have some about 8-10 questions, but probably it's gonna be another questions other than what we have that we're gonna talk about. Today's a day that are gonna be so serious. Normally, I like to laugh, I like to joke around. We'll see how he is. Let's do it. Good afternoon. How are you, Mr. Bilal?
Buenos dias. Yo hablo español poquito. Okay. Yes, we're allowed to laugh.
Okay. We put the eyes then.
Okay. So before we go discuss everything, I want everyone to know, when discussing the law, I'm giving the general aspect of the law. Things pertaining to your case specifically is going to be very different depending on your background, where you're from, what things happen, what happened itself, the advice itself. For that, you're going to have to talk to an attorney specifically, get the details of your case, what other reliefs you have, and what you should do. So any advice I'm giving is general legal advice.
Perfect. That's what I do in the beginning. Also, I do, like you saw, I do a little disclaimer, and that way to avoid, any misunderstood and stuff like that. You always got to go to an attorney if you have one. If you don't have one, I can say, myself, look, well, one of the best, which is Mr. Bilal, is here, and I'm glad that he broke the ice with a big old smile. That's good. That's a good start.
I'm a bit of an optimist. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my background first.
Yes.
I went to New England Law in Boston. Over there, I did a lot of internships with immigration and other organizations as a student, Greater Boston Legal Services, and some of the private practices, gained experience. After law school, I volunteered with Maryland Legal Aid for about a year or so. After that, I was working at the Esperanza Center Immigration Legal Services in Baltimore City. Then I started my own firm. So that's where I am now.
Very, very good. And I think you did the right choice to get your own firm. A lot of young people, they're scared to go by themselves and they start doing it their own. I think you get the time to build it. You can build something big. And thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
The most terrifying thing I tell any attorney when they're starting off on their own, the most terrifying part is to register the company, put out your own shingle, and starting. That is the most terrifying part. Everything from there, you just have to meet the right people, do the right thing, find a mentor, work with them, and build your practice from there. And things slowly fall into place. But that would be the most terrifying part.
It's like everything new now. That everything new that it gets you like that. When people ask me, what do you do when you come to this country? Talking about immigration, they're scared when I tell them, well, one thing you got to do, you come to another country, so you need to learn the culture. You need to learn the language. You need to know that you need to fix your paper. So when I tell that to them, it's like I tell them something from out of this world, and that's a basic thing you need to do, right?
Yeah, it has a lot of advantages. The ability to speak English opens a lot of doors to you. And being fluent in both English and Spanish opens even more doors to you, to jobs and opportunities, being bilingual. For me, I work with an amazing translator who I've been working with years and helps me quite a bit working with many of these clients. And that's a great thing. You don't always have to know the language itself, but if you have someone who can help you work with, it brings you, it works just as well. And even being bilingual, speaking Urdu and Hindi as well, that helps open doors as well to many clients.
That's a big talk right there, because I am a living proof of that. I don't speak the language perfect. That's what the reason I put my channel Conversando con el Tío Luis, because I don't speak perfect English. I don't read perfect English. I don't talk the perfect English. But I'm not scared like other people do. Most people do. They're scared. They're going to laugh at how they sound, how they're going to sound horrible. You need to be take it seriously, because it's only your own benefits. I can talk with anybody in English, and I can talk with anybody in Spanish. So that gives me two places where I can profit from that. So a lot of times people don't understand that thing, But anyway,
And there's
so
a lot of programs that are absolutely free, local libraries available
yes,
for English
yeah,
conversation. And no one's going to look down at you or laugh at you when you're trying to speak English. For example, when I speak Spanish, everyone, the Latin community actually appreciates me trying to speak Spanish and learn the language. They may laugh a little bit, but they're not doing out of disrespect. Like, hey, we appreciate it. And
well,
the same thing with English. You're working hard, they'll treat you nicely. They're not rude. And if you need a translator, you can always ask for one.
that's a real true, man. I even joke around with three lawyers. I do drive it for Uber. So when I get clients at the airport, I bring it to point B, and I find lawyers and I find businessmen, I find this. But I had three lawyers. I talk about my YouTube channel because it became my passion, because I like to help people this way. Like what we're gonna do, we're gonna help people. Um, Hopefully, somebody benefit from this. When I tell them that I have YouTube, and they say, you know what, I'm gonna subscribe to your channel because I want to learn that Spanish, but the street Spanish. I don't need to know the verbs and past and future. I don't need to know that. I only want to know how I can get through a conversation. And that's what you were talking about, just to get enough to get you there. And people do appreciate that. But thank you very much. Um, you know, this normally I do for 2 hours, but I know you are a very busy man, which I do appreciate. And I thanks to your family. I thank you for your time that you've given us today. So we're gonna go right through the questions about immigration. What you can tell us about current situation right now with the immigration?
Well, for the current situation in immigration, I wouldn't say I'm very optimistic, but what we're experiencing is very much what we expected to see since the last Trump administration. ICE is going to be a bit more active. The cases are going to be a bit more difficult. There'll be a lot more work put in, more evidence, more documentation in. In fact, I think I woke up this morning reading a news article about 20 immigration judges being recently fired. The reality is, immigration judges are not independent judges. They are still beholden to everything that's happening around them, so they can be fired. Versus a normal state judge, if they're fired, that they have an entire process through which they would go through. They're an independent system, different branch of government. But the immigration court is created through the Act of Congress, the Congressional First Article, but they still can be fired. So there's always things that we have to be concerned as immigration attorneys when going forward. I'll put it this way: I trust the immigration judges that I do go before, that they always follow the law. They do everything they can within their powers to uphold the law, and the Constitution, what they've sworn to do so. But the reality is things are going to be a bit more difficult. That's what it is. And there's no way around that.
That's a good thing that the federal judges, which is immigration judges, they cannot be fired just because I want to fire them because they don't do what I say. That's a very good thing. I was almost 20 years in the field of bail bonds. I used to get people out of jail and put it back in jail, and I saw some judges did so many wrong things, and they were not liable. But the good thing, we have a constitution to respect, and that's why it makes a country so big, and that's why a lot of people want to come to the United States, because we feel in somehow, some way protected about it. Very good. It's a good news.
And the moment you enter this country, you avail yourself to the rights of the Constitution, the right of due process, free speech, all of those rights. You have those rights inside this country. And going through the court system is one process of the due process, and having that right is very important.
Yeah.
If I look down in the corner, it's because I have a second screen. So if I'm looking right here, I'm looking at a second screen.
Yes.
I'm looking back in here. All right.
what is what you can tell us how people where they can go and find information. If you can put on the screen, share with me the website, and then you can tell a little bit about it, and that way people know what to do, where to go to find out.
Find out about, are you talking about like finding out about your rights in immigration?
No, about people when they get in custody, how they can find information, or you think it's better for them to call in an attorney?
Now, the first place you want to look, if you have to know what's happening, is where your family is if they're detained by ICE. Hold on, let me get to the screen. Where is...
Yeah, I think it's a key process. That way they know exactly what they need to tell the lawyer where they are. You know what I mean? And by the way, I'm planning get my license back to get people out of jail, and I plan to get a license for immigration also. So I might be involved with the immigration to get people out of jail on that situation. Maybe, not sure.
Hold on, I'm trying to see how I can get this screen shared. I think something happened with the screen. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me see. There it is.
I see in the background you got lots of books, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, my main office. I'm right now at my brother's home where my niece is. Normally, my office does have a lot of books themselves.
Oh wow. That's just a little part of them.
No, it's his office.
Oh, okay. That you are have to get updated every so often, or you like continue education that you have to go through all that.
Okay, found where this thing is. All right.
Okay, we're gonna share that.
This right here is called the ICE Detainee Locator. If a family member has been detained by ICE, you can search for them on the detainee locator. Now, the great thing about this website is that you can change the language to Spanish. You click this button up here, click Espanol. It changes the entire thing completely to Spanish.
Can you scroll it at top of the page, and that way they can see what address they need? Okay, there you go. That one right there. Yeah. Use immigration and custom enforcement. Okay.
So
they can be seen in Spanish and English.
Yes. And you can change it to other languages, such as French as well. Is in every language.
Every language. Oh, okay.
Most languages. All the big languages. So let's do this again. Now, if your family member or friend has an A number already, what we need to do is put the A number and put their name inside the documents. So let me go to English. Country of birth. A number, country of birth.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to search for it. If they do not have an A number or country of birth, you don't have that. A number, your first name, last name, country, and the date of birth.
Okay. That is if you don't have the A number, alien
Yes.
number.
And
Very good.
I'm very sure most of your community knows what the A number is, right? I hope so.
Yes.
It's a number that's given to every individual who goes through immigration. Is your identification number. It's called the alien registration number. So what's important is if you have an A number, always remember it because it's going to be very useful for you, whether you ask for immigration relief or something would happen to you or your family should ICE pick you up. So
Yeah.
if you are in ICE detention, there's not much we can do except for requesting a bond. And we're going to go, I believe you're going to go through a little bit further when we're discussing what to do if you were detained by ICE.
Yes. Yes. While we there in the on your computer there on the screen, can you give us your webpage? Can you show the webpage how they can people get in contact with you in case it's, let's say anybody say have a family or friend they need a good information. What is your webpage that we can look it up to right now?
All right, so let me go share it in a moment and pull it up.
I think it's a very important, that we have your information because there you go.
I need to ask them to fix my number right there. My phone number is 301-744-7290. My website was just recently revamped, so I just seen they made a mistake right here. So my number is 301-744-7290.
Okay,
But you can
I
type in
see
your
it.
information right here, request a consultation.
Okay.
You want to ask for immigration.
And if somebody in Spanish and all different language, they can be helped.
Yes, if they know a different language or need a different language, we can actually provide a translator for them. Or if they have a family member who can translate with them, that would be great. We schedule an appointment. We schedule appointments over Zoom.
How about that consultation? It's any fee with that or?
My consultation fee is normally at $200, and this usually covers giving. They usually give advice in the consultations as long as needed. I know most attorneys do consultation by the hour, but I prefer to do the consultations going in detail, answer every single question they have, go through all their issues, what other relief they have. So while my consultation may be $200, I try to give them as much as time possible, discuss any issues that they have, any advice they need, and I go into detail. But what does help before the consultation is having you send all your documentation before meeting, because everything comes down to the paper documents. Notice to appear. What do you need to know? It all comes down to paper first.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take that screen out. We already have where they need to look for if the person gets arrested and the information
now
they need.
There's one last site I want to make sure everyone knows.
Okay, perfect.
It's called Automated Case Information Website. It's something anyone with a number should check occasionally. It's to check if you have a case before an immigration court. Now, when you go to the Automated Case Information page, you could check whether or not you have an updated case, if you have a new case coming up, if you have a removal order. You type in your A number, you click submit, and it tells you what exactly is happening in your case. If I just type in a number and there's no case, it'll just simply say no case existing.
Okay. That is with your office, or that is with the ICE?
It's with the Department of Justice.
Department of Justice, okay.
It's to tell you whether or not you have a case. And I will see if you can post these into the chat as well. So anyone who would like to check if they have a case before immigration, they can do so.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay. That's that information that I didn't know that was possible to get. Good information. Good
It's something
information.
you should always check, because if your case is coming up and you don't know what's happening, if you miss your trial, you can be ordered removed.
Oh, huh.
Now, ordered removed means the judge says that you are to be removed from the United States, and as a result of the removal, you will be deported. So the difference between the word deported versus removal. Removal means be removed from the United States. Deported means being actually being in the process of being kicked out of the country. Be deported from the country.
And that makes my my next question. What do you think? A lot of people, they follow the advice of the neighbor, and the neighbor doesn't have an idea about immigration. And sometimes there's somebody that give an advice, it's another person just like them with no papers, right? And they go ahead and listen to those people and say, hey, don't go to court. Don't go to court. They're going to deport you right there. First thing they do, they move a different address, so they got now a deportation. Why these people not choose to do the right way? It's kind of hard to figure out. But
I'm going to be very blunt. Always, absolutely, always attend court. No matter what. If you do not attend court, it becomes a lot harder to do anything for your case. Any attorney will tell you, always to attend court. There should never be an attorney that says, don't attend court. If someone tells you do not attend court, do not listen to them. Go to the court. The judges know when someone doesn't have an attorney, they'll give you a list of pro bono attorneys. They'll ask, continue your case, set another date for you. Always attend court. If someone gives you immigration advice and they're not an attorney, do not listen to them. Contact an immigration attorney, get a consultation, get a general idea what you need to do. Or you can attend court yourself. I know court sounds very scary for many people, but the first time you attend court it'll be a bit intimidating, but the judges are not going to order you deported that day. They may just request you to set another date. They may tell you get an attorney. But judges will tell you all your rights that you need to know.
Perfect. That's what it brings us to the question. Thank you for sharing those 3 websites that we the people they can look for information for for the low ones, and the person self they can find information. That's a very good information, especially the third one. I didn't know that you can look at the Justice Department the case number. But anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and go to the question that I have set up for me to ask you about it. And we're going to go ahead because we only got 30 minutes more, so we need to get it right. Say, what do I do if I am detained by immigration and customs enforcement?
Stay silent. Do not sign anything.
So I see a lot of people, they go to their home and they surround the home and they keep knocking, they keep yelling name and stuff like that.
Okay. So
what they can do in that time.
Let me finish. If you get detained, stay silent, don't sign anything. Say very clearly you want to talk to your attorney. Those 3 things. You must be very clear that I choose not to speak to you. I'm requesting to talk to my attorney, Those are the first 2 things.
Okay.
Do not sign any papers. Ask for a translator. Say, I need a translator. You can say in English. Say, I need a Spanish translator.
Okay.
All right. Now, if the immigration shows up at your home The answer is very simple. Do not open the door for them. You do not need to talk to them. You do not have to do anything for them. They cannot enter your home. They cannot search your home. They cannot search your car. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to give them any papers. But you should never lie about your immigration status, though. Do not lie.
That's a one thing you never do. Yes.
The worst thing you can do is lie. And it's just as bad you don't lie to your immigration attorney either, because everything you say does affect your case. Now, when your immigration does show up at your door, it's very important that if you do get detained, have someone ask for the card of the officer who's arresting them. Make sure your family has a copy of your A number, any documents. They'll need to reach out to an attorney. Because if they're detained, what the next step would be is to try to file for a bond. A bond means you'll have to pay some money in order to request them to be released. Now, one of the things to keep in mind when it comes to these arrests is much harder to get a bond if someone has a removal order. If you have a criminal background, it'll be harder to get a bond. Now, I'm not talking about speeding tickets. What I'm talking about is driving under the influence, violent crimes, felonies. If you have any of them and you're detained, it's very unlikely you're going to receive bond.
Okay, that's a good thing.
The ICE warrant themselves, the warrants the ICE have, can only is for arresting the individual themselves, not anyone else.
Okay, yeah, I talk about that because I see so many times in the social media about the cops around that thing. What I found out, that normally ICE takes a different agency. Because the people open the door just to say he's not here, or they get scared and close the door right away. So they give him a reason to the cop, to the local cop. There's something is going on in there. So of course, they're gonna.
If that happens, as a local cop, you say to them, "I do not give you consent to enter my home. I do not give you consent to search my home." That's why you say is your constitutional right. Now, what's going to be important is you're welcome to say, bring a translator. And you communicate them through your window. You can communicate through the door. If they say they have a warrant, tell them to slide the warrant under the door.
Yes.
But you do not have to let them in your home. You say, I do not give you permission.
Yeah.
If someone puts a foot in your door,
yes,
you simply say, I do not give consent for you to enter my home. Why? Because it's my constitutional right, my Fourth Amendment right to not allow you to enter my home.
Very good. Very good. Excellent.
You have to be respectful. Do not become belligerent. Do not raise your voice. Not become violent. You speak to them with respect. And during that time, you can call an attorney.
Very good. And that's what we need to be prepared. So that would take me to the next question. How would I can prepare my family in case that I get detained by immigration?
And I think I touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
First of all, make sure your family has a copy of your documents. Have your A number. Make sure that if there's a family member has been arrested, that you have, if they arrest at your home, you have a card from the officers that were there. You want to reach out to an attorney to see if you can get a bond for the family member. Now, I know some people are wondering, I have a hearing coming up and I got detained by ICE. That could happen. But still, you'll have to go through the process of filing for a bond.
Okay. Once, let's say I get detained and then taken to custody and I go to the process, I can request a bond right there and there.
It has to be filed to the court requesting a bond.
So it had to be with an attorney.
I would recommend an attorney. People can file by themselves, but really I would recommend to have an attorney file the bond.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Yeah. I think it's better the professional that take care of that than me, that I don't know what to do exactly. And that's one of the big mistakes a lot of people make in illegal documents. It's on the online. I can do everything online. I can do it myself. I don't have to pay. But I know one thing through my years in life, in the legal matters with the bail bonds, the money that you don't spend early, it will cost you triple later because you're trying to be a cheap one. Don't want to spend that money at that moment. But that's life. It teach you that kind of stuff,
I mean, there are some times people who do successfully do the thing themselves. That's not, I don't deny that. But sometimes having the experience of knowing what exactly immigration wants to hear, know exactly what immigration needs to know about you, what questions that the court is going to ask you, that type of experience is going to be invaluable, especially when discussing with the judge. And how the judge will take your word. Now, as an attorney, I'm an officer of the court.
Okay.
We can't lie to the court. We will not lie for anyone. We tell the truth.
Yeah.
We take an oath.
Yes.
We have experience with the law. We can argue with the other side. Ultimately, the decision is going to be with the judge.
Okay.
But there is some sort of credibility that's given to, let's say, an attorney versus a non-attorney.
Very good. Very good.
But there's always a chance that if you do it by yourself, you could succeed. But I do recommend obtaining an attorney to help you do these bonds.
Yes. Perfect. So now that takes me another question. Now we're going to go with what is the requirements to get an asylum?
Now, asylum. First of all, you need to file asylum within 1 year of your entry into the United States. If you do not file with the 1 year, your rights to asylum will not be available unless there's an exception to it. For example, a hardship that prevented you from filing for asylum. But there's a high standard on what is an exception. An exception could be that, I am here on a visitor visa. The conditions change in the United States, inside my home country. That could be an exception to the 1 year. But the 1 year, the exceptions are very difficult to achieve if you're just simply saying there's a hardship. Being in a hospital, that would be considered a hardship. I was in the hospital the entire time. I was unable to file. That would be ground.
Yes.
If you have a very detailed report from a psychologist, it could help you overcome the 1 year bar.
Yes.
So asylum, 1 year. Next, when you file for asylum, you have to file asylum on a protected ground. Political opinion, membership to a particular social group, race, religion, ethnicity. You need to have a ground of protection for asylum. If you don't fall into any other category, there won't be a ground to grant you asylum. Now, in addition to asylum, there's options called withholding or removal, convention against torture.
Okay.
Withholding or removal means I don't qualify for asylum, but I do qualify. Even though I'm ordered removed, they can't remove me back to my home country because there's a danger to it. And there's convention against torture saying, should I be removed back to my home country, I would be, and the government would acquiesce and let me experience torture, or the country itself would torture me. So there are alternatives to asylum, and asylum is by nature very difficult to get.
Very,
So, and
very, explain it.
if you're
Very,
filing for asylum and you need to get the 1 year deadline there, file something to keep the 1 year deadline. Go
very
to an
good.
attorney as soon as possible. They can correct your asylum application, fix it, prepare all your work for it. But if you're before an immigration judge, I'm going to recommend you definitely should have an attorney with you during these asylum hearings. It makes a dramatic difference, especially when trying to understand what the judge is looking for, to present an argument in such a way that the judges understand that best support your case. In addition, one of the requirements for your asylum hearing is to file a very detailed brief, oftentimes reaches almost up to 20 pages. It has country conditions, research, everything the judge wants to see to review, your affidavit, an explanation why you deserve asylum. And this all is presented to the judge ahead of time. The reason why asylum tends to be very expensive is because of the amount of work involved.
Oh, I see. But it's well explained in it. So how you cannot get lost with the explanation that you just give me. And I have a particular question touching I'm from Honduras, by the way, touching part of my people here in the United States. But before that, to keep it on that perspective, apply for asylum. But what happens if I get it? If let's say I have a case with asylum, right, pending, and I get detained by ICE, what can I do?
Well, the first thing is to have someone file a bond for you to get you released. Now, depending on, as long as you do have a clear criminal record, you don't have any removal orders or nothing like that, nothing to affect your case, hopefully you'll be able to obtain a bond. Now, I don't know how the immigration judges are going to rule or how the department, the ICE's position is going to be, Homeland Security's position. But if you're not granted bond, you'll be detained. And from there, your attorney would have to work and prepare your applications for asylum. Okay. The Department of Homeland Security will take you to your hearings. Now, in the past, detained hearings used to be they would take you to the courts in chains. Now, they'll have you appear virtually through a computer, through Zoom, and you'd appear inside your court that way. But it all depends on the courts themselves and how they handle it.
Okay, and so now I'm gonna talk a little bit about what in my mind with people, my country, and I'm explaining. Maybe you don't need to because it's some things that you can say, some things you cannot say. Because as a consul, as a lawyer, we have a law that we're limited somewhat somehow. But me as a just independent citizen, my country is committing a fraud against and the embassy. They've been doing all kind of tricky stuff. They've been charging people to get an appointment to go to the embassy. They've been asking deposit money into the personal accounts. Then we say, oh, if you want to get the passport, I charge you this. They've been committing crime in the United States, even though they are diplomats. As you know, the diplomats the law cannot reach to them. But because I study criminal part of the law things as a bondsman, I know as an entity in the United States, they can they can press charges against the diplomats. It's only one entity, and you know which one is, right? Which is a Supreme Court. They can take a charge of that. Now, at these people, they can apply for asylum that once they've been committed fraud, because if these people go back to Honduras, they can be at risk. They can kill them because they're, they made a complaint. against to them at the embassy and the newspapers or social medias, they will be afraid to go back to Honduras if they get deportation. They can be applied for asylum.
There's always here's the thing: if the court has determined you don't have a valid claim for asylum, they're going to be ordered removed, and that's the reality of it. The question if you can apply for asylum again on a different ground, yes, it could be possible, but there are specific things involved that you have to show. Now,
Yeah, first has to be a case, I guess, to the embassy of Honduras. But
so
the
the difference between an asylee is someone who comes to the United States requesting the protection from the United States. A refugee is someone who is outside the country requesting to come to the United States. So there's a difference between being an asylee and a refugee. Now, as for diplomatic issues, there's not much I know about that. All I know is there's a diplomatic immunity, matters regarding the state, these other nations may have to deal with the federal government. It could be a Department of State issue, whatever it may be. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer for you.
No, I see.
No, that's beyond my knowledge and ability.
Yeah, it's not the line of immigration, but me, because I got to study the criminal part of the law. I don't know everything, and we only do for bail bond. But one of the topics that we talk is about that the only entity that have a power against to the diplomat is the Supreme Court. I need to dig in a little more there. If it's any lawyers out there, they can open a case against to the embassy, and that way these people they stole money around the country, they can get it protected by asylum or something. But that was just a want to say that part
But
of it.
it all depends on the nature of the case, whether or not there's a reasonable grounds. Is there credible fear? Was there something that shows that there's an overt action by the government that they're actually threatening them? Are they publishing a list of the people's names out to the public? Hey, target these guys.
Okay.
Having that information is going to be important to determine whether or not someone has a case.
Okay, perfect. No, I appreciate it. Though I know I can rely on your answer about because you're a very honest person, and I like that you said that is beyond my knowledge, because you're right. You're on the immigration part. Knowledge about law in general, but that it takes another level to be to be enforced something against to these people. Anyway, so moving along because time is it's almost no time.
We go a little bit over if you need to. That's fine.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, appreciate it. What happens? I have a TPS. I'm gonna say in Spanish, and that way you can, what it is.
Yes.
TPS, right? TPS.
Yes.
Temporary protection status. An immigration official stopped me. What I can do?
Well, if a member of immigration is stopping you, the same advice. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to give them any documents. You don't have to, you just simply ask them and might be detained. Having TPS gives you a protected status. You have a status within the country, United States. So being in the United States, you'll have the protections you need. So, well, I may not be as concerned with someone who has TPS as someone who doesn't have documents. Well, there's a possibility that they can decide to arrest you. That is entirely possible. It's to simply say, oh, you're completely safe. I can't say that. They could arrest you because you maybe have a criminal record. You may have committed a felony. That may be grounds to arrest you. But if they do arrest you, or if they stop you, don't talk to them. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to give them any documents. You don't have to say anything to them. That's it. They can't detain you without a reason or probable cause.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't lie. Don't do anything like that.
Don't lie about your status.
Yes.
If you have TPS, you have TPS.
Yes.
Have a copy of your TPS card, have at least something with you at all times. Your employment authorization, I believe, would have a category on there that says you're receiving your authorization through TPS. So having a copy of your documents on you, that's good. Have a copy in your wallet, have a copy in your car. They cannot search your car, immigration.
Very good.
The only people who can do it is the state officers, state police, if they have a warrant. If they have a warrant, they can search your home. Your car, if they have probable cause, if a crime has been committed, but you don't have to talk to them. That's if they ask you, can I look at your trunk? You said no. How come? I'm using my Fourth Amendment right. You just say, I'm using my rights.
As simple as that. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. No other way to go. And then that tells me, Miller, how you doing, Miller? Alberto Salazar, un placer, blessings. I haven't noticed that there were people were texting there. That tells me, it reminds me something about one of those things that I always tell people, because, we have probably over 10 million people that are illegal in the country. And some of back in the days, some of I know they were using when I used to get people out of jail, a lot of before 2008, before immigration, it was hard on the people get in jail. They were deported, but some of those people, they will find them fake IDs. And from that day, I used to tell people, don't ever have any illegal documents that is not the real one. And also, a lot of stores that were making ID, they were saying is a license, international license. And I used to tell the people, don't use that because that's illegal. The only entity is the government. They can give you an ID. No store, no nothing like that. It can give you that. But I learned that from that time that I was getting people left and right because they had a fake ID or something. It's one of those things you never do it, because immigration, that's you already in trouble. You don't have no paper. If you lie and you give a fake ID, that's even worse.
Absolutely never get a fake ID. Do not get a fake documents. Don't get a fake social security number. Don't get anything fake. Use official documents. Being honest and having those fake IDs can be used against you. It shows a sign of dishonesty, fraud. And if you use those documents to receive a benefit, that's a ground that immigration can probably deport you for.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have any of them. If you need one of the things is, if you need a tax ID, file one with the IRS to give you a tax ID so you can file your taxes. Don't make up a social security number. You can file your taxes with the government. That's good. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
You don't need a fake ID to follow the procedures.
Yes.
You have a ID from Honduras. That's great. You have a Honduran ID. It shows your identity.
You have to have a visa to be able to drive with the license from Honduras. You need to have a visa with you.
That's true. Yeah. Now, let's say we were to get you file for asylum. You got a work permit. Now, from there, you can use that information to get a state ID in the state of Maryland, just to drive. You can get a driver's license.
Yeah.
Some states do provide an option to get a identification, and that's possible. You're not going to have the real IDs, the Real ID Act compliant ones, but you'll have an ID that you can drive with.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That we've been doing very, very good there information. So let's get another little topic there. Let's say that I am in the middle to get my green card, and be my spouse made a petition about me that to stay in the country with them, and that could be a a father or mother, or that could be a wife, or that could be or husband, or that could be one of your kids that they are petitioning. Um, if it, can I be deported?
You can be deported usually by the order of a judge.
Okay.
In order to deport it is a decision for a judge to make. Meaning that if you're put in removal proceedings and they have a grounds to put you in removal proceedings to the immigration court, they can order you deported. But there has to be a reason why they're ordering you deported. Now, most of the time, what happens if you have an application for you pending to get a green card and you don't have status and you're getting family petition to get a green card, you're usually fine. But if you have a criminal record, that can affect you from getting the green card itself, but it can also put you in removal. Can I detain you? Yes, I could detain you. It's possible. But if you go into the proper process, you're doing everything by the book, most of the time you should be fine. Granted, you don't have a criminal record, you don't have an order of removal, you don't have any other issues that are preventing you from getting status, you probably will be fine. But to just simply say, oh, you're going to be perfectly fine, no, it is possible that they can deport. You can be put in removal proceedings, could be deportation, you could be even put into detention. It's the reality of the situation.
Okay. All right. It's something, I don't know many type of visa. I know you can get a regular visa. You can get a student visa. You can get a what's it called, a work visa. You can get a fiance visa. You can get. Give me a second. They trying to close me on TikTok.
We call it the alphabet soup.
So all these visa and green card and all that. What is a visa T and visa U? What is that?
So Visa U was created by the police department. And the police needed assistance on trying to solve crimes, and many of the immigrant community was unable to assist them, or they were afraid of ICE or afraid of deportation. So they created the U visa for the purposes of assisting them. So if you've been a victim of a crime and you assisted the police, you can have a process for the U visa. Now, T visa is a trafficking visa. It's people who are victims of severe labor abuse and victims of human trafficking. So, and that is another option that's available to you. Now, I saw this video that went around by some person named Carlos Espina. First time seeing it, about that caused concern amongst my U visa clients about ICE going after U visas. But I found that leaked memo that he was referring to a leaked memo saying they're going after people with U visas. I looked at the leaked memo. It was nothing about what he was saying on that memo. If you do not take advice from someone who's not an attorney, do not give in to any of the fear mongering. The U visa provides some protection to you. First step, you have the qualifying crime. You're assisting police. You're not going to be deported while you're assisting law enforcement. Law enforcement wants to solve those cases. And after you file for U visa, you're eventually going to get something called a bona fide determination letter.
Okay.
After you get the bona fide determination letter, you can file for a work permit, get some sort of deferred action protection, and when the U visa is available, you can adjust your status to a U visa. And this also allows you, if you're in immigration proceedings, after you get the bona fide letter, you can possibly terminate your immigration proceedings. So it helps you in the defense of immigration removal. But The U visa and the T visa are excellent tools to help get someone out of removal. If you've been abused at work, labor abuse, victim of labor abuse. For example, someone says, you either work now or I'm going to call ICE on you, or threaten them with the ICE all the time. That could possibly be a T visa. A U visa, you're a victim of domestic violence, a violent crime. You've been kidnapped. Someone stole your car. And you're in it. They robbed you at gunpoint while they stole your car. That could possibly be a U visa. But you need to talk to a local attorney in your area. And when that happens, and when a crime does happen to you in the United States, you report it. You do not stay silent about it. The U visa was created because they want you to report these crimes and go after these criminals, people who are committing crimes against you.
That case that I was talking about, Honduras, that be committed a fraud, that's a crime in the United States, that they can maybe apply for U visa?
I don't know the answer to that because you're dealing with two different major issues. You have the issue of diplomatic immunity, an embassy doing some sort of criminal act.
No, I'm talking because
it may ultimately be a more political issue that the embassy has to deal with. Maybe the government of Honduras needs to deal with. Maybe the State Department have to deal with it. I may not have the answer for you.
That one.
But I know that's a unique and distinct situation, but I may not have the answer for you on that.
Okay.
But someone
curious.
Yes.
Again,
but there is a set of crimes that are distinct to you.
Okay. It's a set of crimes for that. Okay.
Yes,
perfect.
the type of crimes.
Yeah,
for those, you're going to definitely have to talk to a immigration attorney to discuss that matter.
Of course, to dig in more into that. And that T visa, it is kind of related, similar to U visa.
It's very similar, but it has a different cap. So there's a certain amount of U visas they're allowed to grant per year, and T visas are very similar. For example, you've been human trafficked; they forced you into prostitution. You have access to a T visa. If they've kidnapped you and trafficking you, trying to do things to you, yes. If you're being, if you're forced to be working as a house servant in someone's home, and they constantly threaten you, instill fear in you, won't let you leave, talk to anyone, possibly a T visa. Work at a construction site or somewhere, a place of work, they're refusing to pay you, forcing you to work nonstop without work, and mention immigration, your status. It could possibly be a T visa. But having an attorney look into that, that's going to be very important.
Yeah.
The distinction, it could fall under U or a T visa. The advantage of a T visa, there's not as many filed per year. But the difference between T and U is the trafficking. And you may qualify for a U visa, may not be for a T visa. You may qualify for a T visa and a U visa.
That's fantastic information, Bilal. Wow.
So really labor abuse can potentially fall under a T visa if it falls to an extreme level and they're threatening you.
Can I be deported with that kind of visa?
If you have a T visa or a U visa and you have a removal order, you could overcome the removal order and have the removal order waived. That's the unique thing about these visas. There's unique protections behind it. Could you be ordered removed? It could be, but you have to be in immigration court first.
Okay.
It usually is a judge that orders you removed. Even detention centers sometimes have an immigration judge, but only the immigration judge can order you removed. But usually when you have a T visa pending or a U visa pending, the judges normally do this. They said, okay, if you have this pending, let's move it to a status docket. Let's move the case a little bit further down and update the court on your application. You want to know once you have application filed, give us an update. Once it's approved, all right, we'll get rid of the proceedings. But if you commit an extremely violent crime, I'm sorry, but that's it for you. If you do a very violent crime like murder, mayhem,
yeah, that would
kidnapping,
be, yeah.
no, I'm going to tell you, there's nothing we can do for you. But
Yeah.
most cases, when it comes to immigration itself, if you have a U visa or T visa, there's an expectation the judges and the courts, they all know what's happening. And they're usually okay with everything being processed, making the determination first before.
What I understood, any person that gets detained and taken to ICE, to the custody, they cannot be removed right away. They have to see the judge, right?
If they do not have a removal order,
If you don't have a removal, where
it
removal,
been,
they can
not
take
been
it right away.
deported.
Okay. So
you can request a hearing.
So you have a chance to ask for bond. You have a chance to hire an attorney if you don't have no removal. What about if you have a criminal case that was committed and they take him into custody? They can be taken out of the country right away, or they can still see a judge.
Judge still has to, if you want to be ordered removed, the judge has to order it. But criminal cases, it depends on the criminal case itself. If it's a traffic infraction like speeding, you're probably going to be a little fine. You're going to be fine. DUI, they're definitely going to arrest you.
Okay.
Now, it also depends on whether or not the court in the state made a decision. If you have a pending criminal trial, that they could probably detain you for some time. But if you're found innocent, that's fine. But you need a criminal law attorney to assist you on that. And a criminal law attorney is going to have to discuss the immigration consequences of each case themselves. For example, let's say a shoplifting charge may be one thing inside state court, but the federal equivalent would be completely different. So they need to actually review the criminal charge themselves, whether or not it whether or not there's immigration consequence related to it.
Okay.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is, I do know I've heard reports of ICE coming to some courthouses, and there's some videos out there of ICE coming to courthouses. Okay. And it has happened in the past. It all depends on the judge whether or not they want to allow the arrest happening inside their courtroom. The judges do have some jurisdiction to say, hey, not in my courtroom, go wait outside. They can probably do outside the courtroom. ICE could possibly come to the courthouse. But if you don't go to court, the judge will rule against you. Always go to court. Sometimes the judges may not allow ICE into the courtroom. We don't know. I've talked to the sheriffs in Maryland. And as of right now, they didn't have issue with ICE coming to the courtroom. As of probably a few weeks ago. I don't know if things have changed. But if you have a case, always go to court.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. No matter what, you still got to face it. Otherwise, you will have a double problem. I only got 2 more questions, and I'm sorry I already passed the time.
No,
but before I want to say hello to the people that be watching it. Milo Murcia, Familia de Dios. Soy yo en serio. Tenemos Alberto Salazar. He's saying blessings. We got Dunia Handres, Pozo Malacate, Chloe, Rosita Pérez Prado. Thank you for, gracias por estar aquí. Gracias a Dios que estamos recibiendo una información muy buena. Así que les agradezco por estar aquí. Si tienen alguna pregunta, háganla, que ya la voy a preguntar al abogado. Thank you, sir, because it's important to me to interact with people. I cannot do with TikTok, because TikTok I have a far away so I can see. And that's what I recommend people to go to my profile in TikTok and go to YouTube, because I can see the questions there. So I only got Two more questions. I had third one, but the third one is not really that much important to me. It's pretty just a curious about what you had to say about it, but we're gonna do it better. The two good ones. Um, what is any special requirements when it comes to um, SIJS visa juvenile?
Special immigrant juvenile status. So that is a visa that's for mainly people, children. So a child defined by immigration is someone under the age of 21. Now, the child has to be affected by abuse, abandonment, or neglect by one or both of their parents. You must go to the state court first. Now, some courts, their age limit is 18 years old. Other courts, their age limit is 21. But the government's age limit is 21. If you're filing for special immigrant juvenile status and the place where you're living in, the state you're living in, you need to check whether you need to be 18 or 21 before the court has control over the case. So what you file is a custody or guardianship action. And through that action, you're supposed to request a finding for special immigrant juvenile status. After their findings of special immigrant juvenile status, you need to file with immigration the proper forms. You need to file it before the child turns 21. Once they receive it, your case will be pending and the child will be able to get possibly a green card. Now, when they get a green card, they cannot petition their parents. That's the one rule that's there. But they'll be able to stay in the United States. And that's quite important because most people want their children to be safe. Now, custody can be with either one parent or another family member.
Another family member. That can be allowed to stay in the United States for good, or?
Yes, they would be. If they were to obtain special immigrant juvenile status, they'll receive a green card.
Very good.
Now, they cannot be married.
Okay.
And they should never join a gang.
Okay.
Wow. So don't get in trouble. Tell your kids, don't get in trouble. If they get in trouble, that's bad.
Yeah.
After they become a U.S. citizen or a green card, then they can get in trouble.
Yeah.
After they get their green card, they can get married, but not before that. Do not get married. One of the few times I say, don't get married.
Yeah, that it's funny you're talking about that, and that's a real true. When I noticed when I got my green card and everything, and I didn't wanna become a citizen, and I didn't see the importance that being a citizen it has. I'm very thankful to God and to United States, to the person that that I got married before, and then we got divorced. Because it's hard to become a citizen. But in the beginning, I didn't want to be a citizen. I was trying to stay with my honor of my country. But you know what? The honor is better when you have that double citizenship, especially the United States. And it's true. It's true. Be a citizen. And the whole open doors that will come to you in the best way. So I'm glad to be part of it. So I vote. So I put my vote there every time. Sometimes it works, sometimes not.
That's actually the most important thing. If you can become a U.S. citizen, you're a green card holder, and you're qualified to become a U.S. citizen, become a U.S. citizen. Your votes make a huge difference on who's in Congress, who's president. Even though you're just one small person, it makes a huge difference. So if people are living in fear right now, the one thing they can do, become a citizen. And then lobby their congressman, contact them, give them phone calls. One thing everyone should know, calling your congressman makes a bigger difference than just sending a letter. All right?
It's funny. It's funny that you're talking about that. On Tuesday, well, it's gonna be Wednesday. I'm gonna have a lady. There we are in a group to try to see how we can help and denounce the, have resolutions. How that we can make some things like that to the Congress and to the commissioners and to the mayor, and she's been doing it a couple of times. So I'm gonna have a talk with her on Wednesday about she can teach us how we can do that. So it's gonna be saved on it's gonna be in Spanish. It's gonna be saved into the my YouTube channel, and that way the people can come and see the steps they need to do to talk to your Congress, send a letter, send an email, give them a call, because
So
you gotta let them know you are
I've
behind.
actually interned at Congressman Elijah Cummings' office right out of college. I interned for him. And what I remember, one of the things was, whenever someone was giving a phone call to us, I write down all their information, whether constituent, everything. At the end of the day, they print out the entire document, the notes, what the constituents are asking for. And the congressman would read those the phone call letters in a short spreadsheet of what the people are asking for. And I would tell you, very important to give those phone calls. They would
Yes.
hear from you. They ask for your information, give your information. Your congressman will read it afterwards. And they'll get back to you, send you letters.
I never thought about it, Bilal. But this lady opened my eyes, and we're gonna see how we can become a lobbyist. Me going to the Congress and do lobbyist there, and see how we can not only get to know those things, to help my country too. Because unfortunately, my country is run by corrupted officials. They're evil. But anyway, that's another topic. That's not an
Another
immigration
topic, but you as an individual can make a difference by just picking up a phone and giving a call. That
Yes.
one phone call is very effective. And after you
Yes.
call them, give them your contact information, they'll send you a letter afterwards. But making a phone call does make a difference in Congress.
Thank you. Well, the last question would be, what is, how did I, as a person that had no paper, that barely speak the language, how I can get for a guarantee that I'm gonna, let's say somebody tells me to go to any attorney, and how I can get guaranteed by that attorney is gonna do the job, but that I ask him to do it. How I can make sure my money is gonna go well, work, or if they do something, they don't follow the job they're supposed to do it, and I want to get my money back. What's the steps to go for?
I'm going to tell you this. If anyone, absolutely anyone, guarantees result, you get up, you leave the room. Never, ever hire an attorney who guarantee results.
Okay.
And never, ever go to a notario either. Okay? In these times, people are going to be afraid and they're going to go to a notario. They're not immigration lawyers. I cannot count on my hand how many times I've seen notarios completely screw up a case and put the clients in such a difficult position. And when they come to my desk, I said, this is to a point that not even I can help them. So don't go to a notario. Very often they would just take your money and run off. Or they'll lie on the paperwork and put you in even worse situations. Now, as for an attorney, when you go to an attorney, first thing you want to talk to them is, are you licensed to practice law? If an attorney can be licensed to practice law in any of the states of the United States, including the U.S. territories, to do practice immigration as is federal law. Difference between a lawyer and an attorney has a license to practice. Now, when an attorney goes there, you have a sign an agreement, retainer agreement. The money that you provide them first goes to a trust account. They can't just take the money out until the work is completed, or they reach certain steps in how far they've completed the case that they can collect money. If the attorney does gross negligence on your case, for example, missing major deadlines, or completely derelicts his job, or ends up intoxicated at the courthouse, major issues, you can file. First thing you do is get your file, go to another attorney to review your case, and they can determine whether or not there's gross misconduct on their behalf. At that time, you want to file a complaint with the Bar Association. Now, people say, oh, no, attorneys are always going to look out after each other. No. The Bar Association's job is to keep attorneys honest. They're very strict. My mentor himself was an ethics attorney, and he himself would tell me, attorneys themselves are, in fact, afraid of the Bar Association themselves, and they're very strict. First thing that happens, they get your complaint. It goes through a review panel. They review whether or not the claim has merit. Then they move it to another panel. Basically, people who practice the law itself in that particular field. And if there's a grounds to file a complaint, the Attorney Grievance Commission of the state will begin legal action against the attorney. Now, what happens as well, after you file the complaint, that attorney, whether or not they reviewed the case or not, the attorney can file something called matter of lazada. And it's called ineffective assistance of counsel, meaning that the prior attorney screwed up and we're asking immigration to forgive everything, move aside all their previous decisions, whatever decision it is, and give us a bit of a redo. Not exactly a complete redo, but allows you to refile, make corrections, reopen their case. Only time they'll give you a complete redo is if that attorney was so unbelievably negligent and ran off with your money. Okay? From there, you get another opportunity to handle your case. Now, matter of lazada is a serious thing. And I've had clients who had filed it where the attorney was disbarred. It does happen. Some attorneys get disbarred.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Excellent information. And that's when the person, like you, I say they're very honest to say what the truth right in front of you.
And if there is an issue where the attorney has committed malpractice, there's action there. Let's say you gave your attorney a bunch of money to do your asylum case. Let's say the average price can range from, let's say you give them about good $14,000 in their asylum. I know it's expensive, but there's a lot of work involved in the full asylum immigration case. So much so, I have to say, I even spend almost a month preparing documents for it. But an asylum, if they're not, and you get $14,000, they don't earn all the money right away. Most of the money should be in a trust account. You can file a complaint with the bar requesting the return of your trust money.
Okay.
If the attorney's not going to return the trust money, you have to contact the bar. The money that's put in the trust is insured right there. So you can get the money back. You need to request it from the bar for the return of IOLTA funds. If an attorney ran off with the money, you can request it from the bar. The money's insured, and you can get the money back. But you need to contact the local bar association, Attorney Grievance Commission, about it. But an notarial, on the other hand, you don't have any of those protections. They take your money and they run off. They can ruin your immigration case. They give you outlandish guarantees. Now, sometimes I know people go to notarios because they're cheaper. That's true. They may be cheaper sometimes. Sometimes they can charge you more. But your goal is to make sure you have success in your immigration case. That's where a licensed attorney is. Now, let's say an attorney doesn't have all the answers. We have a network of other attorneys we communicate with all the time. I have many attorneys who reach out to me for advice on how to resolve certain issues, very complex legal issues. I can do the research, can provide it. We have trainings for our attorneys that continue education to make sure we're updated to the law. Refresher courses on how to do things that we've been doing for years. I can tell you that, yeah, I know how to draft up these asylum briefs, these documents, prepare your cases. But I, too, occasionally go to courses, even though I know everything that they're talking about. It's good to have a refresher to continue my knowledge and education in these fields. But if an attorney goes there and rips you off, is a question, the first thing you'd always do, ask him for a copy of your entire file. Go to another attorney, provide them your full file, have them review it. Sometimes people would say, I don't think the attorney is doing my job properly, and I review it, and I say, no, everything he's done was absolutely correct. There's nothing wrong here. The reason why it's taking so long is because immigration takes long. That's the nature of immigration. What may seem short is a easy process may take months, probably years. So while it may feel that, the immigration case is taking very long, you're not hearing back right away, it does happen. But first have your case reviewed by another attorney.
Very good. Excellent, man. You're my hero, man. You're my hero.
Hey, look, not every attorney knows all the answers. I don't know all the answers. And so we don't have that. I need to do research. There are times in consultations where I tell them, we need to do a Freedom of Information Act to get your full files. We need to set another appointment later on because I need to do some research on your case. And I'll continue the meeting later on because I don't want to give people the wrong advice.
Yes. Well, every case is different. Depends on everything. Which country, if we have anything pending and something. Everybody is different. Well, you my Captain America, man. You're my hero. Thank you for giving me that. As the last thing, what you would say to my nieces and nephews of the universe? What will be your final words for them?
Always have hope. Don't give it up. Stay out of trouble. Do what's right. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from gangs. Always try to do the right thing. Above all else, don't let fear mongering consume you. Don't listen to those insane TikToks that try to make you more afraid than it is. Reach out to an attorney. There's American Immigration Lawyers Association. They put up postings telling you what's happening. There are legal organizations that are available that do outreach and tell you what's actually happening. And don't always listen to what they say in social media. If you have a case, talk to an immigration attorney. Always attend court no matter what. If you have questions, there are local organizations available to provide you support. If you want to learn English, go to your local library. They always have English conversation classes. There are free English classes everywhere. There are organizations that provide in-person English classes that may cost some money, but is invaluable to learn.
Yes, it is. English and be a citizen is something.
And if you become a citizen, become a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
Become a U.S. citizen.
What I did. That's what I did. I didn't want to do it. You know how I found out how important was that citizenship? When I lost everything, I wandered around with depression and all that. And I said, well, let me go to my country. I'm going to make something happen there. I was 2 years in my country, trying to survive. But when the time came to come back, I was like a month away that my passport was expired completely. So that means I would have had to do from the scratch everything. So it would be a headache for me, right? So I went to Facebook on the embassy over there, and I told her, ask her what I need to do to get my passport updated because I was already expired. And this, fortunately, they told me I was in La Ceiba, which is about 7 hours away from Tegucigalpa, which is where the embassy is. So I asked her, what the process to go there and do it, because I want to go ahead and get my passport to update it and fly back to the country. So what happens, they say to me, they reply that same day, they reply to me, say, hey, we're going to be in your city, we only going to see as citizens. We're going to do the passport, and that's all it is. So I was lucky. They came into my city. I didn't have to travel. And I felt it's special to be a citizen of the United States, because that could have cost me a lot of headache to come back to the country.
Yeah, and as a U.S. citizen, you get a lot of protections. But the downside is you get taxed. No matter where you live, you're going to be taxed.
The United States take care the citizens. They take, especially outside the country, they do take care. That time I realized how a great thing I did to become a citizen of the United States.
And dear Luis, I think I sent the websites on the private chat. If you could share it with everyone.
Okay. Yes.
The website for EOIR case status,
yes,
detainee locator, and you can post my number as well there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put it here in the chat, and that way they can get it from there. If they need to give it to a family member, I do appreciate, man. Thank you very much. Be blessed. Thank you for what you did to explain everything really good about information. Immigration is a whole lot of world there, but basic right now as it is, the people needed to hear that. Hopefully they put and I hope it's for their own good anyway. I hope they put that closed caption and watch the video again, and they can get more information than what what they know. Don't believe on the neighbor. They might be illegal too. It doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Or TikTok.
Or TikTok, like this guy. I don't know how that big mistake that guy made. And then he's a lawyer. I think he's a lawyer.
Oh no, he's not a lawyer. I looked him up. He was a former law student and an influencer. That's all I know about him. But he's a major influencer.
Yeah,
that's what he is. I mean, he's not an attorney. He's not licensed to practice law.
Okay.
He may be doing some good work, getting word out there. I don't deny that. He may be doing that.
Yeah.
But
he has like
give legal advice if he's not an attorney.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Looking for the right
not
people.
To spread fear, unnecessary fear. People are afraid right now. You shouldn't spread unnecessary fear. Let an opportunity for some legal experts to review everything. What is being said? And then when they bring out a statement, American Immigration Lawyers Association release statements out all the time. And if they provide some information, it could always help.
Yeah, he has like 70 million people follow him in TikTok. He has a lot of people follow him, and he donate to a cause over there in Honduras, like $50,000.
It's great. What he does, that's great, and spreading the word out, that's absolutely wonderful.
But not like that,
attention. That's always wonderful. But the words you say and things you do always have an effect on what's happening around you.
Yes,
so I think I just shared a link. I sent a link to you for AILA, American Immigration Lawyer Association. Oftentimes they release information on spreading what's happening.
Yes.
On what's the nature of the applications, breaking down these decisions from the immigration court. So that's usually very helpful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, man, and thanks to your family. Have a great day, and I know we're gonna be working together. Another couple of things there, and I appreciate what you're doing for not only for the world, but particularly what my country, because nobody needs to know, but you're doing a very good thing for my country, for my people. But I can't talk much about it because we're not an immigration part. But I do appreciate with my heart. Thank you, and maybe in 2 years we do an update what things are going, how does they
Right.
go?
Hopefully things are more positive as we go forward.
Yes, sir.
I always say prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yes, yeah, because if the good things come, that's a great, beautiful thing. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down from the screen, and then you can cut it from there. Thank you. Be blessed, man. Be blessed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Wow, spectacular. That was a great information. Share with the people that might need a family member, friend. Give it that information to them. I'm gonna put the links that he gave me. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the chat, and that way you can see that you can look up for information. That's a great person right there, young fella, hardworking, very honest person, and he has a heart of gold. So I'm gonna read the last. Rosita Perez Prado say, "You are welcome, mi señor tío." Uncle Francisco Rodriguez say, "Uncle Luis, how are you? I am scared. I'm scared of what?" Milo, gracias Milo por estar siempre. José Ramírez, wow, bendiciones José Ramírez, excelente, excelente. Por favor, compartan esta información, este video. Espero que la gente se suscriba, la gente le dé me gusta, le dé el dedito, la gente comente a cualquier pregunta. Yo voy a dejar ahí en el chat esos enlaces donde puede encontrarlo a él en la página que puede encontrar cuando una persona está presa. Él indicó ahí cómo más o menos buscar. Y el caso de cuando está en la justicia criminal de Estados Unidos. Esas tres páginas de internet, guárdelas. Usted nunca sabe cuándo le puede dar esa página a una persona que lo necesite en ese momento. Un abogado muy honesto, como lo dijo él, aquel que le ofrezca que le garantiza hacer algo, levántese y váyase para otro lado, porque se le está mintiendo ya de entrada. Una persona muy honesto, cada caso es diferente, no se puede generalizar hasta que no tiene el caso en las manos. Fue grande la conversación, espero que hayamos aprendido mucho, yo por lo menos aprendí mucho. Vamos a seguir hacia adelante, gracias a todos los que estuvieron en TikTok. Lastimosamente en TikTok no lo pueden ver porque la plataforma no tiene para mirar horizontal, pero les agradezco todos los que estuvieron dando me gusta en TikTok, los que estuvieron dándole me gusta aquí también en YouTube, los que están en Facebook, los que están en vivo, en Instagram. Ay, hombre, no grabé lo de Instagram. Y fallé. No lo hice en Instagram. Bueno, ni modo. Fallé. No grabé lo de Instagram, pero voy a hacer unos cortos que voy a mandarlo para Instagram para que pueda sacarlo. Bueno, vamos a poner lo que es los enlaces. Ahí estuve en TikTok también. Ese es mi campeón. Gracias por darle me gusta en TikTok. Vamos a poner los enlaces. A ver si lo puedo copiar. Déjeme ver. Aquí voy a abrir este. Okay. Que estoy tratando de copiar lo que me mandó para ponerlo y que lo puedan ver. Y así ustedes pueden usarlo para dárselo a una persona que lo esté necesitando, ¿no? Que es muy importante. Copy. Lo voy a poner, como les digo, lo voy a poner todos esos mensajes aquí en el chat para que ustedes puedan transferirlo a otras personas. Este es uno de ellos. Ahí va. Ahí va a quedar grabado. Vamos por el otro. Fue tremenda información, la verdad que muy contento de haberlo tenido a él aquí, gran personaje, la verdad. Aquí vamos con el otro. Ese que les puse primero es del departamento. Es del departamento de donde puede mirar el caso. El caso del, ¿cómo se llama? Ahora le voy a poner donde está ICE para que entonces puedan buscar dónde está detenido la persona. Ahí está ese otro. Ahora le vamos a dar el otro enlace que es donde él está. Esta es su oficina de él. No tablet. No, de esto no. Espérame que no me tiró la información de él. Todo aquel que quiera ver la información esa, por favor, vaya a que no encuentro, no me sale la página de él. No sé por qué. Pero bueno, les voy a poner el número de teléfono de ellos. Copy. Ahora les voy a poner la información de ellos, donde ustedes lo pueden recibir. Donde ustedes lo pueden llamar y así saben y consultar con él, ponerse de acuerdo ahí con él. Ese es el número. Supuestamente me iba a poner la página, pero no la miro. Me puso otra página, no sé si esa página es para, ya les digo, your law practice building community and promote justice American. Oye, yo creo que esto es donde puede chequear información de los abogados para estar seguro que tienen un abogado correcto. Pues la vamos a poner para que la tengan ahí y puedan tener donde sacar información, una información veraz. Así que es una información muy buena que se la puede transferir a una persona que posiblemente esté necesitando ese apoyo. Agradezco a todos los que estuvieron en vivo. TikTok, que es increíble la cantidad de personas que miré que se estaba moviendo. ¿Cómo se llama? Este señor para mí es un héroe. Este es, como le dije, mi Capitán América. Y como le dije que era mi Capitán América, también les voy a enseñar. Fue la película que fui a ver este fin de semana. Está fabulosa. Quiero ir a verla hoy otra vez o mañana. Pero le recomiendo esa película. Esa película estuvo. Pero como aquí teníamos un héroe. Para mí ese muchacho es un héroe porque la información que nos dio no solo a los latinos puede ayudar, va a ayudar a mucho ser humano que no tiene papel aquí en Estados Unidos. Ya por lo menos sabe cómo puede buscar un buen abogado, sabe la información de él, que para mí es espectacular que alguien pues lo escoja él como abogado, especialmente la gente de él es el capitán América. Él es el capitán América para mí. Y voy a decir algo, unas palabras en inglés acerca de lo que pienso, lo que ha estado sucediendo. ¿Cómo se llama? Pues quiero ejercer mi voz en YouTube. No dar una mala información es importantísimo. Él estuvo hablando de este muchacho que lamentablemente se salió de la raya en una información que estuvo dando él ahí, y creo que quitó el video porque sí le cayó encima la gente. Y este tiene una cantidad de personas increíbles. Él hace cosas buenas, pero en esta él cometió un error, como todos cometemos errores. Hay unos errores más fuertes que otros, pero no podemos caer en ese en querer decir de que no sabe nada, que no sé qué. No, él sabe bastante. Pero lamentablemente yo creí que era abogado y no es abogado. Él dijo que él lo chequeó para poder hablar con propiedad y lo que él estuvo estudiando para ser abogado, pero no es abogado. Así que son las cosas que suceden en la vida y uno se da. Pero bueno, lo último lo voy a decir en español en inglés, para gracias por darle like en YouTube y compartan YouTube. Por favor, den me gusta, suscríbase al canal del tío Luis. El tío Luis siempre está trayendo información, pero espectacular. Esta fue una gran información. Agradecido con Bilal, Siddiqi, un gran ser humano. Le agradezco a Alicia por haber hablado por mí para hablar con él. Muy contento, Alicia, de que haya hecho eso usted. A través de usted fue que pude tener la oportunidad de hablar con alguien que usted respeta mucho. Usted respeta mucho y que sabe que él es honesto. Por lo consiguiente, más alegre me siento, porque sabemos que hay una persona hondureña que lo respeta mucho. Y ella es ciudadana americana también. Este miércoles vamos a tener a Miss Kitty. Miss Kitty nos va a enseñar, los que estamos en Estados Unidos, seamos residentes, con permiso, ciudadanos, lo que seamos, necesitamos hacer esos pasos que el abogado dice, que mantengamos contacto con los congresistas, con los senadores, con los comisionados, con el gobernador, mandémosles cartas, que es importantísimo. Y Miss Kitty nos va a enseñar cómo ella ha hecho 2 resoluciones. Ella presentó resolución cuando Juan Orlando, cuando también ahora denunciando a estos gobernantes voraces, sádicos, diabólicos, porque no se le puede decir más, porque llevan maldad y son tan descarados que se ríen el frente de usted y atrás de usted por todos lados. Se ríen de saber de que lo tienen atontado, y eso ellos disfrutan, almacenan dinero que hasta, bueno, es increíble. Eso, ella nos va a enseñar cómo hacer los pasos para poner esas iniciativas, resoluciones, les dice. Es importante que cada ciudadano, cada residente, que seamos hondureños, hagamos estas cosas. Así que el miércoles vamos a tener esta persona. Será alguna parte de la mañana, va a quedar grabado para que usted lo mire. Este video de hoy usted tiene que verlo, escucharlo un par de veces y compartirlo para aquellas personas que tienen una amistad o tiene un familiar que no tiene papeles, para que sepa qué es lo que tiene que hacer, lo que sepa. Y es lamentable que a veces seguimos dirección de otra persona que es ilegal igual a uno, que no tiene ni idea, que no ha pasado por eso. Así que le aconsejo, claro, no le voy a obligar a que haga lo que tiene que hacer. Usted escoja qué es lo que quiere hacer. Usted escoja y de ahí va para eso. Hablamos de diferentes visas, de diferentes situaciones que puede estar con la migración. Usted tiene derechos y no puede ser violado. Ahora, dependiendo su situación, si tiene crimen anterior o después, o si tiene deportación, ya eso ya no lo salva. Pero bueno, así que usted puede escoger. Yo le aconsejo que busque las personas correctas. Siempre la persona que le va a hacer un buen trabajo le va de frente, como aquella muchacha que nos dijo el otro día que se especializaba en llenar documentos para migración. No, yo no soy abogada. Si hay algo que yo no sé, consultamos con abogados que sabemos que tienen la práctica, pero ella no se hace representar como abogada, y eso dice la honestidad que tiene la persona. Y como le decimos, siempre usted hable, diga, pregunte, tiene todo su derecho. Y aquí le puse información que usted puede usarla. Así que vamos a hacer cortos de esto, y en los cortos, por ejemplo, en TikTok voy a poner los enlaces que se necesita para hacer todo eso. Anyway, so I want to say a little bit, because we talk about immigration today, and this comes from me as my perspective that I see things. It's kind of hard to see a country is being founded by immigrants. It's kind of hard to see the hate, how we are divided. We are millions of good people. We come to the United States, and I'm talking here the vice president, the president, and many officials and the government, their wife or their husband, even them, they might be part of and back in when the parents came to the country, they are part of that immigrant thing. But why they taking a hate against to a class or a people or immigrant when we need it? Nobody, nobody, I can say that, but it's many, most of the people, and I'm even me, I would not go work in a restaurant like I did when I come here. I would not go work in the field. I'm not gonna go work in the roof. I'm not gonna work in landscaping. And all this hard work, are you ready to go work there? Are you ready to do that kind of job? What is in the mind of these people that want to keep the country divided? It's a beautiful country. We need to spread our joy to be in the United States as a citizen that born raised here. Why they're not sharing? You're not gonna go do a job that these people do. So why are you taking it against to these people? They're the ones that clean your home. They're the ones that clean your yard. That's the one that clean the plates in the restaurant. Maybe cook your meal. There's a lot of good people here, but you cannot take the people that are get the ball rolling. Now, make no mistake, it's criminals between all that people, but not everybody's criminal. Just a few people, not the whole entire over 10 million people. No, there might be 10,000 that are criminals. Those, they need to get them and kick them out of here. I even go there and help to do that. but don't take it to the people is bringing a work, things that make it easy for your life here. Who's going to pick up the crop? Nobody. I'm not going to do it. Certainly, you're not going to do it either. You know, it's few Americans that do that kind of work, but not everybody. So why you want to think of people like that? Okay, you mean they want to, you say, oh, but they need to be legal here. They need to come here legal. Well, we already have them over here. They already got family here. They're already paying the rent. They're already paying the cars. They're already paying. Why you want to take the economy out of here when you say, okay, we're going to bring workers legally? But this is what I don't understand. You kick them out. That once they already know what you need, working hard, they spend the money here because they already got family here. Why you just give it a permit to work legally? But no, you want to bring people to come work here for 10 months. You know why you think they're going to do? They only come here maybe for 6 or 10 months. They work here, they save their money, and they take that money to their own country. So what's the logic in that? So you prefer somebody come legally because that's make you ego pride. That's all it is. But the economy is going to go down because that money that shouldn't be spent here, that money is going to go to another country. No, we need the money stay here. We need to make America strong, but you need to make it sense of stuff. So I don't understand. Somebody has to be Mr. Captain America. We need to have a Captain America for real that do things that make sense. I'm not against to any political thing. I'm not a politician, and I could care less for a politician because I got clear one thing: if I don't work, I don't eat, and I have all kind of illness. I got diabetes, neuropathy, but I still go work day in day out. And some days I come home with nothing. Some days I come with a little bit. Nowadays, ever since that in the area that I am, ever since the Ian came through here, economy has been bad for us. The ones we work transportation, but we hoping things will get better in the next 2 or 3 years. So we just got to survive the bad time. But if I don't go there to make 20 or 30 or $50, and our politicians gonna come bring me that. So why you are fighting, hating, and know that to keep divided with your neighbor when the ones that tell you to hate and know that we need they got plates of gold. They eat the best steak out there they can eat. The other day I tried a piece of steak that this lady gave me as a gift. It was unbelievable delicious. That is the best steak, and she gave me a pork chop too. It was the best pork chop ever. Believe me, they eat a whole lot better than normal person do. So while you fighting with your neighbor, they are talking in a table, having a good time on your name and our name. So let's get united. Let's make America great again. Let's get Mr. Captain America come to life and make our country better. Don't fight. Don't hate. Stop racism. And stop that, please. When I come to the country, this country was flowing the money. Everybody was happy. You know, the last 25 years, things changed so bad. And we need to make it back again. Let's do it together. Don't matter what color, what race you are. Let's just work together. Let's do the work that we got to do on one side, and let's do the work that you got to do on the other side, and be happy ever after. So we need that Captain America born, please. SAP yesterday. Well, thank you very much. I just want to say that few words. That's a thought that I have. And normally I was going to do in my segment that thought, but today it kind of related because we talk about immigration and what's happening. And I just saw the movie and I thought I'd say something with the Captain America. You know, we need that hero. We need that hero. Please, we got to move on in life. Let's get together and get along. Well, I do appreciate your time, valuable time. I hope you can help someone to get this information out there. God bless you all. And we're going to go ahead and go to work. See if we can make some money today. Because no one's going to bring me that money to me. Thank you. Gracias. Tenía que decir algo en inglés porque era importante, ¿no? Para mí. Normalmente lo hubiera dicho en mi segmento de pensamiento, de reflexiones. Pero debido a lo que es lo que hablamos hoy, el tópico, pues de eso. Ya saben, miércoles voy a estar en vivo. Vamos a poner cómo poder denunciar, cómo poder ponerse en movimiento los hondureños, nosotros los hondureños especialmente, denunciar con todo congresista, senador, gobernador, comisionado de su ciudad, cómo mandarle cartas, buscar los correos para mandarles a ellos para que ellos esos correos electrónicos los lean. Y le apuesto que si habemos 500,000 hondureños que hagamos eso, vamos a hacer presión. Y especialmente cuando viene de los que son ciudadanos ya, porque a ellos les interesa el voto tuyo. Y es el momento de hacer, sin mirar partidos, sin mirar nada de eso, es denunciar el narcogobiernos, denunciar a los gobernantes diabólicos, porque necesitamos liberar a nuestro pueblo. Ya subí un video ahí de cómo le quitaron en la Mosquitia, una persecución voraz que hay en la Mosquitia, que es increíble. Los metieron presos, le quitaron toda la pesca, la quemaron en los frente de los ojos de ellos. Mire, los militares y Xiomel están cometiendo cosas increíbles. Pero bueno, el miércoles vamos a tener a esta persona que nos va a indicar cómo hacer eso. El sábado a las 5 de la tarde, hora del este, este próximo sábado que viene, hora del este, el sábado, 4 horas de Honduras y hora centro, vamos a tener a la luchadora social, a Myrna Woods, una persona noble, una persona luchadora que no le tiene miedo a nada. Estará ella con nosotros y estaremos contentos de poder llevarle a nuestras pantallas y poder decirle a la gente todas las denuncias que ella tiene y que quede grabado aquí. Así que agradecido con ella por aceptar, ha sido mi Kitty por aceptar también. Muy agradecido con el abogado. Gracias a Dios estamos llevando programas de beneficio a nuestra gente. Un día va a ser de información, otro día va a ser de hacer conciencia, ¿verdad? Así que gracias a todos los que tuvieron y a los que van a ver esto. Suscríbase con el tío Luis en todos sus canales, pero el principal, YouTube y TikTok, que son los que más personas tengo, 2,150 en YouTube, 2,500 y algo en TikTok. Vamos avanzando. Gracias por ese apoyo y siempre trataremos de traer información o de lucha o de historias, de una lucha para liberar nuestro país, Honduras, de las manos de estos gobernantes diabólicos. Pero bueno, Dios me le bendiga, que los cuide mucho. Recuerde que Dios siempre está a su lado. Nunca lo olvide, Dios está a su lado. God is on your side. Don't ever forget. That's a fact. I don't know what you do, but to me, it is, and I love to say it. Sometimes I forget, but I love to say it. So I'm going to close Vigo, which very happy to see Vigo. We had some people there. In fact, we had it over 300. That was beautiful, beautiful. Ahora vamos a cerrar los de TikTok. Disculpen los de TikTok que no puedo ver tan largo, pero quería que me vieran de frente. Ay, la camiseta creo que no la miraron como debe ser, pero bueno, gracias por haber estado, por estar presente en mi canal. Espero que les haya servido lo que hicimos. Me perdí de hacer en Instagram lo correcto, pero bueno. Después pondré información de cómo se llama, de la conversación de hoy. Estoy atrasado con todo eso, pero vamos a quitar TikTok. Excelente, 500 personas en TikTok. Bueno, ahora vamos a quitar Instagram. Ahora vamos a quitar Rumble. Ahora vamos a quitar YouTube y los demás. Okay. Gracias.